It does not come from the influenza virus, you jackass.
I didn't feel it come.
It has to come from the same virus to be in the same family. Viruses come in families.
Stop touching niggas with your hand.
Apparently, the CDC had just come out and said that now it's official that you can start to treat the vid like the flu.
Well, that's good news.
I really think, Doctor, you want to treat this like you treat the flu, right? And, you know, it's going to be.
That for every person that gets infected, on average, 2 people may be affected by that person. The overwhelming majority of people actually recover fine. 80% of people actually recover with a mild flu-like illness.
Experts are still learning about the virus.
Certain people have to seek care, and the folks that are actually becoming more sick and suffering more symptoms are typically elderly patients who have chronic conditions that were underlying as well.
So rather than panic,
The usual things that prevent the flu are what you should follow.
in Tampa, Haley Bull, ABC Action News.
Malcolm? Because now you could go take your ass back to work.
Yeah, you don't even have to quarantine for 5 days anymore. All that stuff. And I don't know if you guys remember, right? But think all the way back to the year 2020. It was dark times, right?
Dark times.
And, you know, when the initial lockdowns happened, a lot of people were scared. We were up here questioning ourselves. I was saying it as well, like, what the hell is happening? Mm-hmm. And then as time, you know, went on, as we went outside and wasn't bodies in the street, I didn't see a bunch of ambulances racing up and down the street. I didn't see none of that. When I just saw, like, you know, people outside, I just started to, you know, see that it wasn't as dire as they were telling us. And then a lot of people said, yeah, I think this is just a really strong flu, right? And then the flu numbers were oddly non-existent that year.
Non-existent.
During, like, you know.
Right. Flu almost, it vanished.
It vanished. That was weird. Right?
That's weird. Yeah.
However, when you went on the news, when you went on social media, if you said anything like that, you were branded a conspiracy theorist. You were branded an
anti-vaxxer.
Anti-vaxxer, COVID denier, MAGA, Trumpster, all of the things. And now the CDC is coming out and saying you can treat it like the flu.
Yes. Now, on a more serious note, people lost their jobs.
Yeah.
People lost their lives.
Yep.
People lost their livelihood. People were so stressed. You know, it was so much going on, right? And now you're gonna tell us it's all good?
Yeah.
That we could live our lives as if
forget what just happened.
Nothing happened.
Yep.
Even the doctors during that time was saying there's something called herd immunity. And herd immunity means, yeah, everybody gets a little sick. Our body makes the necessary adjustments over the course of time, and it is what it is. So they're trying to cover themselves with that.
Yeah.
But saying during that time, oh, you couldn't do that because this thing was killing people. But just think about how many people's loved ones went to the hospital and they couldn't go with them.
Funerals.
Funerals, bodies that they just dumped. People who thought about, damn, I really shouldn't do this, but I need my job to kind of put food on the table. The whole PSYOP in itself was so powerful, and so many people made money.
Oh, yeah.
They said Bill Gates made $500 million. He invested $50 million in one of these companies, let's just say allegedly.
Allegedly.
But they've been following the money. It was the biggest wealth transfer in the history of mankind.
Of the world, yeah.
Of the world.
Yeah.
Right? And now you're going to tell me it's all good, man.
Yeah.
Just go back and live your life.
Yeah.
After Nana and all of these people are no longer here. And it's a sad situation because they take no responsibility for anything.
And you got to think about the psychological effects it's had on people,
Yes,
bro.
this is what I mean. Listen, it was tough, man.
Like, your people, first up, there were people who were beefing with their families.
Yes.
Right? Then there were people who were actually scared. I have some real actual hypochondriacs in my family.
Yes.
Who were actually physically, like, you know, scared of
Yes.
going outside, or scared of human contact with people. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Think about that. You know what I mean? Y'all couldn't come to the hospital when Nova was born.
Yes, yes. And not only as grandparents, but as just family members, that's something you look forward to. Looking through that little glass or whatever. For those of us who go into the hospital and go, yo, that's him? You know, your little tears flow. And so much that went into all of this stuff. And it created a weird space, bro.
Yeah.
And everyone was affected by it. Even the people who didn't go with the jab. We still were affected because you had family members looking at you like you were crazy.
Yeah.
And ready to go at you because you're not understanding what this means. And so it was very, very traumatizing. It was a very, very traumatizing time.
It was. Like, it seriously was. Again, and we talked on the last episode, Dr. Phil's new book, We Have Issues. He talked about sending kids back into those homes when they were getting abused and stuff like that. The lockdown's hurting kids more than anybody, right?
Yes. You know, and then you had the ones who lost somebody during that, and they're in their feelings because it was real.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was real. All of this stuff is real, but it wasn't on the level that you thought it was. And I think now even you will have to accept that Nana had diabetes, and Nana went into them hospitals, and them hospitals, like I told you before, the murder that was taking place in those hospitals with those ventilating machines and Remdesivir, whatever it was, and all of them drugs that they were putting people on caused massive deaths, man. And they even showed you on the death certificate what they was doing to hide these numbers, and you survived it. So I'm trying to take a positive angle to it now. For those of us who survived it, we have a lot to be thankful for, but we can't let our guard down.
And I hope, as a society, as a people, we see this as a learning experience of what the media can do to us, just turn each of us against each other, how fear literally can move everybody like just down a direction that they want to go to, right? Like people were literally not thinking straight